What up? I'm Josh Paulson, a professional game programmer, and today I want to talk about the new Steam Spring Sale that was just announced publicly and how there is good here, there is bad here, and there's potentially ugly here, where this could destroy some indie projects and even result in some studios shutting down. So, let's talk about that. So the first thing that I'll say is that what I've just said probably sounds like hyperbole, and I'm not sure that it is, and I'll explain a little bit, but first I want to talk a bit about what happens during sale. So, and that might sound really stupid because it's like, duh, we know games go on sale, but let me explain a little bit. So obviously games get discounted majorly, but one of the big things that will happen as well is that people get notified of all the games on their wish list that they have been hoping for and they've been wanting, and they're told, hey, this is on sale, go buy this game. Now, again, you might be thinking, well, duh, we know that's what happens. That's not a surprise. Here's the issue, is if you are trying to release a game in the middle of that sale, you get drowned out by all of these wish list notifications on these games going on sale, and people are spending all their money on those games. Now, I want to clarify something with this. Obviously, that is not a bad thing. I'm not saying, oh no, people got told that a game that they want is on sale. That's terrible. But a lot of indie studios may have just gotten this news, and actually it was just announced. This post is labeled as being on the 27th, this public post, and so this may be extremely recent. And so the thing with that is that any studio who is looking to release in that window, in this March 16th to 23rd window listed here, their plans are potentially hosed, and they may have to look at completely shifting the date. Now, you might think, okay, well, just move it to the 15th or the 24th. That's not a big deal. A few things to note there. One of them is that could be a PR problem, depending. Hey, we've been promising everybody that we're releasing it this time. Okay, we could release early. That gives us less time. We could release late. That means that the fans are waiting for longer. And also, just moving it one day on either side isn't enough, because if it's right after the sale, people have spent their money. If it's right before the sale, people probably know about it, and they want to save their money and get all the games that they've been waiting for. And so you kind of need to give yourself several weeks around the sale. So it's not just anybody who's looking to release their game in the middle of the sale, it's any dev who's looking to release their game around the sale. And you might think, well, okay, that still doesn't seem like a big deal, because there are 12 months in a year, and this is a week out of the year. Why can't you just move it either side? So let's talk about some of the different things that can happen with that. So let's say that you were originally looking to release your game in that time frame, and let's say that when this announcement comes out, you go, oh crap, maybe you've publicly announced, here is our release date. Okay, you move it a month in the past. Everybody has a month less to work. And not only that, but your whole marketing plan has to move up by a month. And maybe you don't have things lined up or ready for that. It's not just the release of the game that gets changed, but your whole marketing strategy has to shift around this sudden change. Let's say that it goes later. Okay, that gives you more breathing room, but also you need more money to keep your team going before release. So now you need to make sure that you have another month of buffer in order to keep your studio alive and going well. And so either way, you're introducing risk and potential problems, and you're having to push either way. Either you are potentially pushing your budget a little bit more, and hopefully you have the wiggle room, but not every studio might. And on the other end, you are pushing your team to get this thing out there quicker, or perhaps you're releasing with fewer features, and there's different things that you could do for that, but this releases struggles regardless. Now, it might sound like what I'm saying is, oh man, this new setup, this totally screws indie devs and this should not have been done. I mean, there's a few things to know. First off, obviously different indie devs will be releasing at different times, but Q1 is the most popular time for indie games to release, because you don't want to do it during the holiday season, because that's when all the AAA games are coming out. You don't want to compete with them. And then generally, yes, the objective is pretty clear. You want to sell games and keep your studio alive. And since you want to do that, you do not want to do that when the other big AAA games are releasing. And so March was a pretty good time. And then you have February and January. People just spent all the Christmas money, and they're usually like trying to pay that off. So that's not necessarily the best time to release a game either. So generally February, March, maybe April. What I have heard consistently is Q1 is when indie games want to release. And generally, again, January, people have spent all their money. You kind of want to wait until they're a little bit more comfortable with their wallets. So I do want to say, with all this, getting back, it might sound like what I'm saying is this is terrible and this shouldn't have been done, and oh no, Valve is screwing indies. That's actually not. So it could be screwing some indies. I guess I'll start with that. It really could be, and I'm actually pretty concerned about that for some different devs. But also, This seems like the best thing for gamers and for people who have already released their titles. To explain more, obviously for gamers, the lunar sale, there was concern about it being too close to the Christmas sale. And so having more sales spread out a bit more gives people more chances to get their favorite games on sale. And I am a sale fiend as well, where I will wait for the game to go on sale and get it. I can't claim any sort of like high ground of, oh, I buy games at full price and I'm so much better than other people. I can't make any claims like that. I do the same thing. And so for people who are looking to do that, which is probably pretty much everybody on Steam, this is a great opportunity and this is a good thing. And for people who have already released their games, whether that is indie devs who've released in years past or for AAA devs, whatever, this gives them an opportunity to have a sale that is not, it just means that they're probably going to have more sales overall because there's more space between them, and you're going to have people who are interested and able to pick it up at right times versus, hey, we've got the lunar sale immediately after the winter sale, Christmas sale. Are people as excited or open to spending? So it seems like a win overall, but for any devs who were planning this year to release in that area around this new sale window, their plans have been completely screwed with. Now, you might be thinking, well, okay, are you saying that this is when you guys are releasing and that's why you're bringing this up? We have not announced an official date. We have just said early 2023. That's the only thing that we've said. So trying to think if we've ever gone more specific than that. I'm not going to go more specific just in case we haven't, but it's something where upon this news reaching the public, we're like, okay, we have to make sure that as a studio that we don't run into issues with this. And I suspect that a lot of other studios are having these kinds of conversations right now. And this is the kind of news item that for most people, it would just completely like slip under the rug. It's just kind of like, that's not the right metaphor at all. For a lot of people, this would just kind of pass them by. It's like, oh, there's a new sale. Cool. Moving on with my life. And I think that it's going to be just another line item for a lot of people talking about game development and talking about news in the games industry. It's just like, okay, yeah, there's a sale, moving on. But this is actually a huge deal for people who are making their livelihood off of this and for planning and laying out their 2023. So I'll wrap it up there. Do you have any questions or thoughts? Are you looking at this and you're like, oh, I have an idea on how you can solve that? Oh, and actually, I think a few other potential things that people might bring up that are worth talking about. I was just about to wrap up, but now I'm like, no, there's a few other things that I was thinking about that are pretty big here. So different ideas on how to resolve this. One of them, you release smack dab in the middle of the sale with a giant discount. That's a potential strategy. Now, let's say that you do that. The problem potentially, and this is all like it kind of has to be theoretical because it could go different ways, is that people perceive your game as cheap, or they keep in mind this is the game that had that massive sale that one time. I'm gonna wait for the next massive sale. And so if you try to make a splash by being like, hey, we just released a new title and it's 50% off or something like that, that could actually hurt your image. That could hurt the image of your game. Might not, but that's a risk. And I'm trying to think. I feel like there was one other big thing. So releasing immediately afterwards, people have spent their money. Releasing immediately before, people are saving up their money and probably aren't as interested. And then you have less time for release. So one other big thing with releasing afterwards, there's one other really important point that I wanted to bring up. So when it comes to releasing after the fact, obviously you have to make sure that your whole team is on board for that time. If you end up having a team where you were planning on moving to a new project and then you're delaying them moving to that new project, that causes problems. Any studios that are also pulling on contract work, if they're wanting to delay their games, that causes problems. I think that the big thing to keep in mind is that if you just look at the schedule shift and you're just like, just shift your schedule. It's not just shifting the game's release date. Even if you were looking at just the development team, you might be like, okay, maybe this is manageable. It's painful, but maybe it's manageable for the team to work an extra month. Okay, yeah, they get more time, or they work 1 month less. Then you have problems with finances, then you have problems with marketing plans, then you have problems with other projects, with contract work, with all these different things. And so the big thing is that this is a cascading effect. So any studio, any team that is looking to change their dates or wishes that they could is potentially screwed. Like, this could, and so when I say that this actually could destroy a studio, if that 1 month window, if they were too tight and they didn't have the flexibility, and heaven help those who don't have that who don't have enough flexibility to change the month. Hopefully they do, but if they don't, that's not any good. That's actually yeah, I think I'm repeating myself at this point, but I'll wrap up there. So if you have any questions, if you're curious about, hey, what about this? Or if you have any ideas on how this could be resolved or ways that you think this could be worked around, feel free to drop the thoughts in the comments. And just know that, I mean, any opinion on YouTube, somebody's going to disagree with it. But I think that as long as there is a respectful discussion, I'm cool with disagreement in the comments. I think that's awesome. I think that we can have some good conversations, throw out different ideas. It is awesome, Hippo. Thank you very much. And say it again. Say awesome one more time, Hippo. You are totally right. That's right. Okay, so that said, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I do stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/JoshPaulison, and I'll have links to that in the description. And I work on Archmage Rises, which is a mage simulator inspired by the old classic Gold Box games that I've been playing. I just started playing one of those on my stream recently, and I've been having a blast with it. So if you're interested, come on out. And also, if you're like, hey, I want to support an indie studio that's doing cool things, then I've also got a link to the game down below, and you could consider pre-ordering us and supporting us that way as we are navigating the spring sale. Ooh. Well, hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, and take care. And by rest of your week, I guess it's Saturday, so we can go a little bit later. Next fantastic rest of your 2 weeks. Take care.